Hey, welcome to the Gold Coast Art School. It's COVID time and we're all in lockdown, so we're having fun here. This is part 2 of acrylics and oils and what are their basic differences. What it does that's different to the acrylics is that in its natural state, straight out of the tube, you can get fabulous natural textures. The actual strength that's in the oil paint, just the structure of the oil paint, holds true. And so we're going to take you for a little walk later and show you some examples. But I'm just going to chuck some different colours down here, straight out of the tube. Some colours you'll find are stiffer, and some colours also, they're very rich. Look at that. That's a very expensive, very rich pigment. When you actually play with this, you can mush them together and you actually can create quite a sculptured surface just with the paint itself, painting it thickly. Now the Ponce Art School word for this is impasto. Now you can thin that down because you've got other gels and oils and things, you can thin it down, but that's not what we're on about today. What we do is we can mush this around in forever reason, texture, or just painting with a knife, which is lots of fun. Or here's welcomes an old friend back from before when we did that clip on buggered brushes. We love buggered brushes. You can mix up with this and cross hatch, building up, backwards and forwards. Now can you see how that has a raking quality? Can you see how that catches the light? Mm-hmm. Now we can come back in 5 weeks' time, we could come back in 100 years' time, and that texture will still be there because that is the nature of oil paint. It holds these little whipped cream peaks. I can pick it up like that and see that little sharp edge there? Like that, that will still be there. Now this is an acrylic. Good brand, structure. This is designed to be thick anyway, so it holds its own.
Oh.
That's all right.
Okay, so why does acrylic paint sometimes do that?
That's because it's been hanging. This is because this colour, you couldn't sell this to anyone. It's been around for a very long time. I don't know why this was ever purchased. But even though it's structure, it's separated in the tube. It's a good brand, but look, we're getting thick now.
There we go, yeah.
Yep. Now I'll just squeeze out this. Now this is also, Jo Sonja is an American brand, but it's made in Australia by Chroma Acrylics, fantastic paint maker. Here's Mr. Cobb. And I'm just going to squirt some of this out. It is manufactured particularly for folk art, so it has a very oily, low profile character anyway. So we're just going to put a little bit of that out. I've also got Matisse Flow. This is Matisse Structure, this is Matisse Flow. Flow, as I explained in the last clip, is supposed to be runny, all right? It has a creamy consistency, but it won't stand up like Structure. So I'm going to start with good old mate from Buggered Brush Days, and we're just going to whip this around. Now did you see the way I whip that up? See how it flops back down again?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do a bit of this stuff, which we did on the other panel. And if you've got more than one colour happening at once, as we've got over here, and getting this soft blue-grey, mixing the salmon in with that rich blue. And I'm doing the same technique as before, dragging it backwards and forwards. I'm going to wipe that clean so it's not too clotted, and I'm going to take advantage of that scratchiness. Scratch, 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 backwards and forwards, cross-hatching like I was doing before. But can you see that immediately that scratchiness, the profile of the paint has lost its sharp edge? Can you see how they're both thick paint and there's texture there? Now we're going to go for a little walk and I'll show you some paintings where this has happened before. So, but you can see already how more relaxed. See, can you see that doesn't have the sharp edge? It's sort of, it just sits, it's more relaxed. You don't have those wild peaks. Let's just have a look at some examples. We'll come over to this side of the room. Here's a painting by John Hunting. It's an oil painting. Can you see? I'll just move it gently so you can see that. Can you see those rich, beautiful, soft textures? It's not about colour, it's about texture. And can you see if you walk past it, it catches the light in a different way, has a beautiful texture. Here's a simple little, just a little knife painting, but can you see how that too has kept its edge? See how that edge catches the light? Here's a little bit of an abstract fun piece. And can you see again these peaked edges? Look at that rough edge. Danger of using thick paint with oils wet into wet. Can you see how that's starting to split away? That's because it doesn't do it here because that's thicker than the base coat. Here it got thinner than the base coat. The top coat has to be thicker than the bottom coat when you're working wet into wet, because this is still drying. It pulls all the oil out of the top coat and it doesn't have enough bulk, can't fight. Now with acrylics, can you see how there's used very thick paint, and by doubling up and doubling up and doubling up and doubling up again and again, you do start to get a little bit of thickness happening and a bit of peaking. I suspect they've put stuff in the paint to do that. And that's what you can do with acrylics. Now, I'm going to go into this in much greater detail later, but there are things that you can add to acrylics. You can put silica flour in, very dangerous, gives you silicosis, or you can buy, there's a modelling compound which is crushed marble in the same binder medium, or you can have heavy gel too. You can actually lift the thickness of the paint by adding products to it. But we're talking about straight out of the tube. And I suspect that's straight out of the tube. I reckon this is straight out of the tube. And you'll see here that the way he's managed to keep these textures is he's used silica flour. He's used something like this in the underpainting to create those scratchy textures and get them to hold their own. Otherwise they would relax. Here's another way of making acrylics build up and have a gutsy texture. It's been using this with lots of close tones and just skimming across, building up textures with the edge of a knife. This was done with a knife, just by doing bang, 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 bang. Now the underpainting has been done the same way, building up, building up, building up. And what she's done here, just layering and layering and layering and layering and using a mix dry enough so that you just scrape over the top and the texture underneath pulls the texture off, pulls the paint off the knife, and that's how that's done. The next clip, I'm going to show you how to go about that, and I'll take you on a little journey with the possibilities of what acrylics can do. Now this has been sitting for a little while, and as I hold it to the light, can you see how rounded those brush strokes marks have become, those little striations? They don't have the same sharp edge to them as that does. And that's another thing to consider when you're doing acrylics as opposed to oils. All right, thank you for listening, and thank you for accompanying us on this little journey. Got lots more to come, folks, so stay tuned. Bye. Subscribe.